Hi, this is Barry J. McDonald, and in today's video over at writecom.com, we're going to have a look at 5 reasons why you'll never make it as an author. Now, although I don't like being negative to people, but there is some things that you have to pay attention to and to take into account if you do want to become an author, because it's not going to be it's not going to be one of those rides that's just going to go from straight up to the stratosphere. You're going to have it up and down like a roller coaster. So it's well to be aware of that. So let's kick it off with the first reason you'll probably want to give up and you're not going to make it as an author is because you're going to be too attached to your work. You know, if you spend a couple of weeks sitting in a kind of room, darkened room, and you're writing out your manuscript, you know, you're going to fall in love with it. Of course, you should fall in love with your own work, because if you don't love your work, what's the point in actually doing it in the first place? So you're going to be in love with your work, and you're probably also going to be in love with the characters you create. You know, with interactions that goes on, maybe the romance, maybe the action, all the different parts of that book, you're going to fall in love with. And because of that, then anybody that comes along then and criticizes it, puts it down, says this is wrong about it or that's wrong about it, or even the poor writing in the book, you know, it's going to affect you. And it's well to be aware of this is going to happen to you. It has happened to all of us. It's happened to some of the best authors in the world, and you're going to have to kind of, you know, dust yourself down and put out a little bit of distance between you and your book. You know, whatever attacks are made on your book, the majority of those criticisms are aimed solely at the book and not as you as a person. You know, in some cases you might actually get the odd review where somebody actually takes a pop at you actually as an author, but in those cases it's best just to kind of dismiss them, put a little distance between them, and not to kind of take it to heart or lash back. Just take it for what it is and move on. And even if your first book did suck, you know, and if you do get a lot of criticism for it, you know, study your craft more, just keep writing, and, you know, your next book is actually going to be an improvement on it. So no matter how bad your first book is, your second one is always going to be better if you put in a little work beforehand. And then another thing too, a lot of people think maybe they can just publish one book and that's it, they're going to retire on it, you know. They think maybe they've got their hands on the next Harry Potter, and all of a sudden there's theme parks and there's movies and there's this and there's that. But any author will tell you that is just, it's as rare as unicorns. You know, you're going to have to keep in mind that you're not going to retire in one book. Very little authors actually do. So because of that, you're going to have to, once you get the first book done, you're going to have to knuckle down and keep writing your second one, your third one, your fourth one, and keep building a catalogue. And then from that catalogue then, the more books you have there, the more readers are actually going to find you, and, you know, the more product you have to sell. But if you're only relying on one book, and that book is poorly received, or, you know, it can just make you think, well, what's the point? But stick in there, and you know, you need more than one book, and, you know, there's very, very few people that are a one book wonder. Oops, sorry about that. And then as well too, like from the first point there, you're going to run away from criticism. You know, nobody wants to ask for criticism, but unfortunately you're going to get it. And because of that, you probably want to keep the book to yourself. You don't want to put it out and have people review it and have people slate it off and say that it's this, then it's that. But like I said in the first point there, you're going to have to put some distance between yourself and the criticism it receives. You know, you're going to have to go. There's no book that, you know, that is going to be a bestseller on Amazon and have 0 reviews on it. You know, people are going to review your book, whether you actually get them to do it for you, or whether they actually it just happens as readers read the book and leave reviews in it. You know, people are going to have an opinion on a book and they're going to leave it. And you'd be as well, actually, rather than being afraid of seeking criticism, is to go out and find the people that actually like your book and get them to review it, you know, and get some kind of positive reviews on it. But again, not everybody's going to like your book, and it's just up to you just to develop a thick skin and to keep going. So another one then is trying to do it all on your own. You know, from writing to editing to creating book covers to doing blurbs to doing your promotion work and everything in between. You know, there's no author can actually do that on their own. So it's going to come to a stage where if you do find yourself overworked and swamped with things to do, and, you know, you just can't understand how to do certain aspects of it, you're going to have to outsource that work and hire somebody. Maybe go to some website like Upwork.com and hire somebody actually to take some of that kind of workload off you. Now, in some cases, you might be, as an author, you could be maybe strapped for cash and you won't know what to do. So just kind of work on the basics first, you know. If your writing's good, well then maybe you need to hire, maybe you're weak at editing, well then hire somebody to do the editing. And then once you have the editing done, then just work on the next book, the next part then maybe working on getting a good book cover created, and then after that then the next part you could work on maybe is the book blurb and the book description. So then once you have all of them up, it kind of gives you a better kind of a snowball effect where you work get improve. But in those cases like where you haven't got much money, just kind of start off with the things you're weakest at most. Be honest with yourself. What are your weakest parts, and outsource that work. And then you just start making more money, and more money starts coming in. Then you can start outsourcing the work that you do like to do, but that you just haven't got the time to do it. So, from a lot of the large publishing companies, they all have different departments that take care of all these different aspects of book publishing. So for you as a single person, try and do it all. It's like somebody spinning plates. You're just going to be rushing from one to the other, and it's going to hold you back, and it's not going to help you produce the kind of work that it's not going to be probably as popular or sell as well because of that, because you're trying to do it all on your own. So that's another reason why you could fail maybe as an author. And then finally, you're not a business owner. And an article there I wrote about a store owner that had a stock room full of cans of peaches, but if nobody in town likes peaches, he's not going to sell any. And yet there's people who kind of create books that there's no audience for. And maybe they're writing the wrong kind of style of books. They could be using the wrong keywords. They're putting the books in the wrong categories, and because of that, then they're not selling any books. And they keep at it rather than actually kind of being like looking at the figures and saying, well, there's something wrong here. How can I change it? What do I need to change? And then change the whole business then because of that. I've even seen people like high paid or high expensive illustrators to create the children's books, and they could spend maybe $200 or $300 getting wonderful illustrations done, and then when it goes to market, then it might only make maybe $50, $100. So like as a business owner, like how could you actually run a business that was just making a constant loss like that? So unless maybe your books maybe were a vanity project, and maybe you were just only writing to a small number of people, that's fair enough. If you want to keep writing those books and keep those people happy, that's okay. But as a business, if you're looking to do business in a long term, you're going to need bigger sales. So that means you're going to have to start writing more to the mainstream. You're going to have to try and see what way publishing in popular categories. And then maybe writing in genres then where maybe your heart mightn't actually be in it, but if there is money in it, and unfortunately you're going to have to go where the money is. But as I said, if it's a vanity product, well then just fire away and keep doing what you're doing. But it's important to look at the pluses and minuses on your balance sheet at the end of the month, because if you're publishing business is costing you money, what's the point in doing it? It's just kind of driving you further and further into debt, and that could be another reason why you might give up being an author, because you just can't see yourself making a profit in it. So just take in those 5 reasons into account of why you shouldn't be an author, and kind of work up a plan of how you can actually overcome them, and it'll put you on a good footing, and you'll be ready for what's ahead of you. So my name has been Barry J. McDonald, and that was the latest blog post on writecome.com. If you'd like to know more, just drop over there and see what we're writing about today. Alright, see ya. Bye bye.